Most people never get to read their own obituary. It's hard to read when you're dead, right? But I got to read mine, and here's what it said. It said, Brad Meltzer, a versatile Brooklyn-born novelist who spun a childhood passion for comic books and a prosecutor's zeal for research into a string of best-selling thrillers, died yesterday at his home. He was 40 years old. Right? So how'd I get to read my own obituary? A few years ago, I was working with a group that helped save the house where Superman, the character Superman, was created. And when a reporter for the Wall Street Journal was asking me about it, he said to me, you know, Brad, this is going to be in your obituary. My first thought was, thank you for so clearly contemplating my death, right? But it was a crazy question. What would be in my obituary? It haunted me. It haunted me so much that I called back the reporter a year later, and I said to him, I want to hire you for a project. I want you to write my obituary. And he did. You saw what it said, that I write thrillers, that I like research. What I also said, and I missed it when I first read it because it was in the body of the email, it said that he got called on to another story, and as a result, he didn't have time to actually finish my entire obituary. So as I scroll down to the bottom of my own obituary, which is really all I care about, it ends with this sentence, and I'm not making this up, just 3 words. He was a. Right? That's it. He was a. Cut off mid-sentence. It's the perfect metaphor, right? He was a. What was I? Was I good? Was I bad? Did I matter? Did I achieve greatness? What was I? And I know so many of you are now doing what I did in that moment. You're wondering what would be in your obituary. When you die, how will you be remembered? And that's what we're going to do here tonight. We're going to answer that question. How are you going to be remembered? But to answer it, I want you to first, you have to figure out who's going to remember you. Because you figure out who will remember you, and you'll know how you're going to be remembered. But before we do that, let me challenge you. I want you to separate all the things that you do for yourself from the things you do for other people. First is what you do for yourself. Where you went to school, the degrees you got, your job title, those are all for you. And they will be in your obituary. But ironically, they'll be the first things forgotten. Your resume fades with you. Your job title, gone. And when you die, it'll be one of the last times that your resume is ever mentioned. But those things you do for other people, that's your legacy, right? And sometimes it's not even in your obituary, but it is what lasts. Because that's what legacy is, right? It's what endures. It's what your impact on other people is. It's what your effect is. It's what people remember about you. And as I thought about it, I realized there were 4 different types of categories of legacies that we all have. The first is your personal legacy. That's the category, your personal legacy. It's the impact you have on people in your personal life, like your friends. And as I thought about it, the person who had the biggest impact on me of that group was, without question, my 9th grade English teacher, Miss Spicer. Miss Spicer, when I was in 9th grade, okay, she came to me, she said, you know what, you can write. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, you can write, you're in the wrong class, you need to be in the honors class. And I didn't know what she meant. She tried to change my schedule, there was some kind of conflict. And she said to me, you know what, you're going to sit in this corner for the entire year. You're going to ignore everything I do at the blackboard. You're going to sit here and do the honors work. Ignore every homework assignment I give. Ignore everything I say. And what she was really saying to me was, you're going to thank me later. And sure enough, when my first novel came out, I went back to Miss Spicer's classroom. And I knocked on the door, and she said, can I help you? And she didn't know who I was. Last time she saw me, I had a full head of hair, right? God bless junior high. And when I walked in, I said, my name is Brad Meltzer. And this novel I wrote, it's for you. And she starts crying. And I said to her, why are you crying? She said, I was going to retire this year because I thought I wasn't having an impact anymore. I said, are you kidding me? You have 30 students. We have 1 teacher. And as I thought about this woman, the first person who ever told me I can write, she had no idea of her impact, no concept of her legacy, right? Even with something so important, sometimes we don't even know what our legacy is. We have no clue whatsoever. And it just shook me. And as I thought about it, I just was like, how is Miss Spicer do that? Because God knows what we leave behind if you don't know your own legacy. A few years ago, I was at my high school reunion. And this woman, who I remember is this really nice, sweet woman, comes up to me and she says, Brad Meltzer, you know what I remember about you? When we were playing ball one time, I dropped the ball and you yelled at me. And I had no memory of the story. I didn't doubt the story's, the truthfulness of it. And I just felt about 2 inches tall because as the next 15 minutes, I sat there apologizing to this woman. And as I thought about those legacies right there, right, the impact that my teacher had on me, my impact on this woman, I realized the next category of legacy that we all have. And it's your family legacy. It's a legacy you have on your family members.